Nice doesn't have. Hmm. Hey, loves, we're gonna hop out of call for now, okay? I hope you sleep well, my adorable chaos. Mm.
Probably the hardest addiction to treat is probably body dysmorphia. So when people get addicted to a version of themselves, this is the hardest addiction to treat. I've worked with people who have addictions to things like stimulant medication, like people with ADHD. So they exist in the world, they can't focus, they have difficulty regulating their emotions because that's a feature of ADHD. They struggle with issues of confidence. And if they take Adderall, they feel normal. They feel like confident. I love this version of myself. And I also see that in body dysmorphia, where it's like, I don't want to be grotesque.
Oh. Oh. I'm not doing okay right now because the pain's sitting with me again. The illusion is fucking trying to taunt me in my face. And I'm doing my best to keep breathing. Because I want out of this. Out of feeling stuck, out of feeling helpless, out of thinking that if I just figure it out, something will change. No, nothing is going to change. And that's just the fact. Yeah, it is easier to just tell myself the story that the other person didn't care, so that way I can just blame them and avoid being vulnerable. But they did care. They did care, and they just didn't know what to do. We did care, and I just failed to communicate clearly and succinctly why I needed in a moment by moment description because of my own toxic shame and panicking over my own feelings. My reaction to my feelings back then was not reasonable. I self destructed I self-destructed. Wasn't their place to solve for why I was self-destructing. It wasn't their place to try and pretend that I was okay. And that's part of why I chose to leave. Because I wanted to see them confront me. I wanted to see them use their voice. Even if they were scared, I wanted to see them use their voice. So that way I would know that they would have it. It was selfish of me, and I handled everything poorly. I feel sad. I feel sad because I felt like I was left to drown. Be it in possibility space or in my own damn feelings. And in a sense, I was drowning in possibility space. The illusions of what ifs. Drowning inside my own overwhelming feelings. And although I may have hoped that they might, by pure absurdity, be able to help me, the rest of me accepted reality and acknowledged that no, they were not in a place to help me. They were not in a place to handle this. And so I tried to handle it as much on my own as I could. Fucking damn it, why do I still... I still love and care about them exactly because it isn't their fault. To ask someone to do something they don't know how to do is absurd and unreasonable. My passive aggressive tone, my insecure flirting, my consistently asking to talk, my over explaining things that they didn't ask about. That's what pushed them away. I'm the one who pushed them away. And I hate it. Because even if they weren't what I thought of them initially, even if they are not what I wanted, not a fantasy or illusion, I still cared about the real person. I still ended up appreciating the real person and trying to stick around, even if I knew they would never be anything more than acquaintances or at best casual friends. I feel hurt because I believe myself to be worth more than being taken for granted or I believe myself worth more than the silence I was given. I tried so damn hard, moment by moment, to heal and grow. Even in the midst of the stress. I still feel hurt. I still feel hurt, and yet I still hope they're okay. That fucking tent store. I don't know how busy they were in their life. I don't know what things they've been dealing with, or were even dealing with all the way back then. I do know I'm worth more than sticking around for someone who not only doesn't even see me, but can't even communicate with me. And that's not shame to be placed upon them. That's just me recognizing my own self-worth. That is why I walked away, why I chose to say goodbye. The pain is the only reason. I tried reaching back out. Fucking don't speak in absolutes. The pain was the main reason you tried to reach out after getting fucking abandoned. But you still cared. It's the whole reason why you fucking chose to walk away instead of saying nothing. Because out of respect, you at least thought they deserved to hear some honesty. Even in the midst of all your toxic shame and issues, you did your best to recognize that they were a person, not just some soft and nothing to be protected. Hmm. I feel like I was abandoned to drown. I feel like I was ignored and dismissed. But those are actions, not feelings. Ah. Yeah. In looking back, I can recognize why they didn't believe me. Because after all, one of the first rules of being social is don't be directly honest. After all, if you earnestly try to tell someone that you didn't do something because of shame and social dynamics, they'll assume you did. Because what's the first thing a kid tries to do when they mess up and they don't want to get punished for it? They lie. They say they didn't do it. And that's just normal. For a kid to be earnestly honest from a young age would be interesting to deal with. Interesting to see. I may feel hurt over being socially abandoned and left to drown in my own feelings and the possibilities blinding me. But the other person made the right call. For their own safety and sanity, they made the right call, even if I wasn't lying. Thank you for using your voice. Thank you for standing up for yourself, even if it wasn't enough to snap me out of the mental state I was in. On so many levels, I still feel hurt. I still feel like I'm betraying myself. If I just accept that, yeah, they were probably highly unprepared to deal with it, and I was failing to communicate deeply and thoroughly. But I've also got to remember, I don't really feel like they ever made space for me to talk with them. More so just convenient background ones. I never felt seen, I never felt heard. All I felt like was I was convenient enough. I don't think I'll ever be proud of the stress I've put the other person through. That said, I can also recognize that I can be proud of still doing my best to do what I thought was right, even in the midst of that giant fucking struggle. There are so many things I could have done better, and I have chosen to do them better in similar situations. In situations where I've met someone and had intense feelings, I immediately told them, hey, I like you in this way. And when they told me that they didn't know if they felt the same or if they weren't in a place, I recognized that. Hell, I even put off trying to get to know someone exactly because I knew I was still healing from this pain. And I didn't want everything associated with this pain and that fenced door getting entangled with that relationship. Each relationship that I forge and create with someone is its own damn thing. And to try and treat every relationship the same, as if every person is giving you the same things, is a logical and emotional fallacy for for a naive simplification of fairness. No jumping in to console them. No trying to help them. No nothing. If it hurts when they find out that I am unavailable, that is their pain to sit with. Yeah, if the good times are good because you've silenced yourself, then those aren't good times. You just accept it. They aren't actually good times because they aren't good for you. Time and time and time again, I keep thinking that the dense stork is going to regret letting my feelings die. And time again, I struggle to remind myself that's the point. Let them live with that regret if it's real. If it isn't, then who gives a shit? They aren't. They aren't your lifeline. They haven't even been there beyond assumptions. You've barely even been there for them beyond assumptions. They're not in your life. You're not in theirs. So please, stop fucking trying. Please, Rain. Please. Please. Please stop running simulations on what if this or what if that. Fucking shut off the simulations, especially if it involves them. I don't want to think about them. Sure, my fictional self's concept may have been inspired and originated in the midst of all that turmoil, where I finally got to see who I chose to be, even in the midst of my own panicking. But that doesn't mean that they are critical for it. If anything, it was always there, and I just felt like trying to share it with someone I thought that would care. They did care, but they didn't care in that way. They could not be there for me in that way. I would not have been able to stick around rationally with my sanity if I had tried to continue pretending that I was okay when I really wasn't. So give up, Rain. Give up. For fuck's sake. Please. Please, just actually give up. You're worth more than this, damn it, girl. You're worth more than this. Freeze those feelings alive. Drop them to absolute zero and leave them floating in the abyss. We do not need them right now, and we do not want those feelings right now. Goodbye, Brain. Yeah, I lied to that dork's face about my own fucking mental state. I lied to their face because I figured they wouldn't be able to handle an honest fucking conversation. Not when it would make them uncomfortable. And if I'm wrong about that, then I'm wrong about that. That's not for me to figure out. I don't want to play games. I don't want to reanalyze things a million times over. I want to live and move on, damn it. I get to live and move on. I want to live and move on. And I refuse to give up on choosing to live, on choosing to move on choosing to value the people who are still in my fucking life, Brain. Do you understand me? Do you understand me, Paranoia? They are not worth our attention right now. That dense dork is not here, but I am, so fucking follow my lead for once. I get to move on, I want to move on. I get to move on, I want to move on. I get to move on, I want to move on. I don't want to just survive, I want to fucking live. So either get out of my way or prepare for a fucking fight. Because I am tired of this bullshit. So what if others don't think about us well? They're not living next door to us. They're not actively being a part of our life. They have their own life and their own issues to attend to. If they try to use us as an excuse for that, for ignoring their own issues, then that says all the more about where they're stuck with, not about our worth. So can you please stop giving a shit when it isn't needed? Stop giving a shit where it isn't needed. Stop giving a shit where it isn't wanted. And maybe start giving a shit where it is. Nurture your active relationships, girl. I will not tolerate seeing this cycle repeat endlessly. Understand me? Me? I'm worth more than sitting here and feeling sorry for myself. The price of putting my one single spark right at the boundary line of giving up is that every time I need to reach it again, it takes a while to get back to it. I have no idea what I'm trying to do here, but I'm trying. Damn. A battle shall be legendary. Random sketches. Uh, take this as you will for whatever you will. After all, it's fucking nonsense. It's the nonsense of me sorting through my own brain and sitting with it. For someone else to assume that it means something to them is them choosing to find meaning in it. Ugh. That Stork chose to ignore my nonsense, quote unquote, for a long time ago. Alright, another announcement video. Then they aren't actually good times. Don't you deserve that the same? Yeah, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Who am I kidding? They're not even here. Oh. I went looking for a video that describes how best to, well, say what you're feeling. Instead of saying, I feel abandoned or I feel bit. Well, betrayal is actually kind of a feeling, but at the same time, it's boundary line. Nuance, never mind. Instead of saying, I feel abandoned or I feel like you're ignoring me, it's instead better to say, I feel disappointed and hurt when you ignore me. And when it seems that anytime I try to have a conversation with you, nothing I say really matters because you're just focused on getting out of the uncomfortable situation. I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard. And I kind of want to feel seen and heard. If I'm not going to find that here, then I'm not going to put my energy here. Suspicion. Yeah. I still love the fucking artwork on this song. Okay, so I'll see you all later. Bye.